What do you want to be when you grow up? Just think. An astronaut, a ballerina, President of the United States. Who thought? A financial analyst, a product principal, owner or CEO of a company one day. Let me ask you something. Who cares? Why is it that when we introduce ourselves, the next question that usually follows is, what do you do? And when I was forced to reciprocate that question, I noticed everyone started to sound the same. Everyone was from Chandler Bing from Friends. They would explain their job title, what they did, their daily activities, their responsibilities, their scope. What is scope? I had no idea. And I realized that I cared more about their passions, their hobbies, their values. So I changed the question. Instead of, what do you do? What do you like to do? And it made me think, what are my passions, my values, my hobbies? I also needed to look within in order to get to those answers. I realized that I measured my progress based on my productivity for that day. So if I woke up, I went to a workout class, I did 4 hours of work, took a 30-minute walk, went back to work, called all my friends and family who I needed to for that day, read 2 chapters of a book, went to sleep, that was a great, successful day. That was a personal, lived experience, but I think that that resonates with most of us when I say us, Americans. And I recently traveled to Manchester, England. For those that don't know, that's Northern England. And they have these bonds, these connections that are stronger than what I have or what I thought I had. So where we see coffee runs, they see coffee chats. Where we see going to the bar with our friends late at night for 3 hours where we can't talk over the loud music, they see sitting in a pub, feels like someone's living room, for 6+ hours drinking amongst their best mates. Those moments matter more than momentum. How could I get that? It's actually called something. It's social wealth. Social wealth is essentially the values, the relationships, the shared goods, the knowledge, anything that's not financial or economical in terms of impact. So if others can do it, I can. I read a book, it's by Alison Bornstein, called Wear It Well. It's all about fashion and clothes and finding your personal style. And in one of the chapters, there's an exercise. Define yourself in 3 words in terms of your style. You pick amongst 50 adjectives, and then you land on them. And if I could do that for my clothes, why can't I do that for myself? So that's what I did. Define who you are now. Now, before I could do that, because you'll see next, that's a lot of words. 50, and I think I'm all of them. I am amazing. I could be any one of these words on any day. But which 3 are the core to who I am now? What are my core values? So I had to think simply because adjectives are easy to understand. They help drive our behaviors, our actions. So going back to my passions, my values, my hobbies, simply, I love my friends and my family. I love learning. I love physical activity. More concrete examples. I love coffee with my mom. I love long walks, 30,000 steps with my boyfriend. I love ice cream. I love traveling. So it took me about 3 days. And in those 3 days, in terms of who I am today, from 0 to 1 years, I chose adventurous, loyal, and purposeful. Adventurous. I live in New York City. I go a different way home, explore the city every single time I leave my apartment. I'll say yes to 90 to 95% of the activities that I'm invited to do. Loyal. My friends and family, New York, New Jersey bound, they pick up the phone, they call me. 90 to 95% of that time, I answer. I'm proud to be loyal. Purposeful. Notice I keep repeating 90 to 95%. It has to bring me joy. Otherwise, I'm not going to say yes to it. And I lead with that. These words are easy because they help drive my behaviors, my actions. Now, I said it took me 3 days because I needed to think, how would others also describe myself? I also knew that I change and I evolve as a person. So I took it one step further. Same exercise, but step 2, define who you want to become. This time around, I thought, who do I want to be in the next 5 to 10 years? So I chose curious, grounded, empathetic. I cannot always be physically adventurous, but I can always be mentally curious. I can always ask questions. Grounded. I think I'm going to struggle the most on this one. To be grounded, I can't just rush to the next thing. I have to slow down. I have to settle. I have to self-reflect. I have to celebrate the big, but also the small wins. And I know that that's going to be hard for me. I'm going to have to practice that. And empathetic. I practice empathy, but no one would use empathetic in my top 10 list, probably not in my top 20 list. I know that for a fact. But I want to own that word. Step 3, write it down. And what I mean by that is hold yourself accountable. I told my mom. I eventually wrote it in a Substack, shared it with my Substack community, but I also have it on a Post-it note next to my computers at work. It's my North Star. It holds me accountable. It's my objective. I know what I'm striving for. I know who I'm trying to be and who I'm trying to become. Now I had to look around myself. Who's my community? Who's my bubble? Where are my connections? And I have to add this disclaimer that I love my friends and my family, but were they allowing me to grow, or were they keeping me still and static? My schedule became rigid. I was doing the same thing with the same people. How was I supposed to learn? How was I supposed to have that social wealth, that thing that was tangible now, if I did the same thing every day where it became boring? So I decided to do 2 things. I decided to become a Pilates instructor. I applied. I also decided to go back to school. I also applied. I did not think that both would happen. They both did, and like I said, I say yes a lot. So becoming a Pilates instructor is one of the best things that has ever happened. I walk into that studio every single time with a smile on my face. And it would have been expected to make friends with the other instructors and coworkers at the studio. But what I was surprised was to actually make friends with the clients, the people that I see every week who come to take my class. You see, as adults, as we know, we protect our time. That's what we hold most valuable. So we assume that everyone has friends and families and cliques. So when a client after class came up to me and said, "Allie, do you want to go for coffee?" it would have been so easy for me to say, "I'm too busy." I took this as a moment. This is where I could learn about someone else, their lens on life, even if it was superficial, but just their story. So without hesitation, I said yes. We went for coffee. And thankfully, it did blossom into a friendship. That was easy. In the sense, it was easy. I just had to go for coffee. It turned into, I'll say she invited another friend, so I met another person. We now have a group chat. She bakes sourdough bread, so I get now bread when I go to teach Pilates. It's awesome. But being engaged and saying yes on an occasion is not enough. You really have to put yourself out there. Going back to school, I purposely picked a business program where I would have to be in person every other weekend on Roosevelt Island in New York. I thought being in person is how I would make friends and expand my community. That is not enough. After 8 hours in class on a long day, I forced myself to get drinks. I know it doesn't sound that hard. It is. Get drinks, go for dinner, go for brunch the next day, or join the Fantasy Football League, which I have never been a part of, and I don't know anything about football. I came in second, by the way. That's how you put yourself out there. That's how you expand your communities. That's how you bond. You really have to try. You can not only think about yourself, you have to think of others. You have to not just text your friends about the homework. You have to say, "Hey, I know you were having a rough, chaotic, busy week. How did it go?" Text another friend about the homework. And I'm going to say something that we know, and I'm going to say it twice. These friendships, these relationships, they are not transactional. I never think, what can this person do for me? I always think, how can I help them? How can I listen? How can I offer advice when prompted? How can I be a good friend? And I state that again because friendships, relationships are not transactional, especially when networking. Networking, in that environment, at an event, I never think, what can this person do for me? I always think, how can I or someone in my community, my bubble, help that person get to their goals? Isn't that what we're all trying to do together? I recently went to 2 networking events, one with a friend, a childhood friend, one with a group of students from school. Here's what I learned. Don't go with a group of people. You talk and giggle amongst those 8 people, and you're not approachable. It's kind of like dating. No one's going to come up to you. If you go with one person, one buddy, you are comfortable, yet very uncomfortable, and you know your assignment, the agenda. Talk to as many people in the room as you can. If the event is from 7 to 9 p.m., do not have 8 o'clock dinner reservations. I did with my best friend. You're going for a reason, a purpose. You need to be intentional. You need to talk to people. You can't be too busy if you expect to go to a networking event. Now, thankfully, we were flexible, we were open-minded, and we were curious, which is my 3rd point. You have to be at a networking event. It means when your first conversation goes south, and we've all been there, talk to the next person, and that also may go south, and talk to the next person. Because if you're in or at that networking event, amongst maybe it's a speaker that you're interested in, you have to assume everyone else is there for the speaker. They have some common ground, some interest. Why else are they there? So talk to as many people as possible. Icebreakers. To no surprise, I can talk to a wall. However, icebreakers are really important. You have to think about this. You have to be proactive before you go. I think genuine compliments go a long way, and I purposely say genuine. In the one event where I went with my best friend, there was a woman alone at a table. I liked her handbag. I went up to her. I did not ask her name. I did not say hello. I said, I like your handbag. She took out her phone. She asked for my number. She sent me the link. Connection. I got her number. We then had dinner because there were unsigned seats that night, and we stayed till the end. And we actually got kicked out because we were having so much fun. And if icebreakers, in terms of genuine compliments, if you're superficial, there's not even a pair of shoes that you can compliment, talk about the game last night. It's pretty simple. You have to be strategic. You have to plan it out. And the last one, I noted it before, but you truly have to do it, and that's have fun. Even if you fake it. I fake it till I make it a lot of times. But no one wants to talk to someone that's not smiling. No one wants to talk to someone that looks miserable. So you have to have fun. So I want everyone to do me a favor. I want you to think of one word, one adjective of who you are today. I'm curious which word you chose, but notice how powerful that word is. And let that word drive your behavior, just for the rest of the day. If you can, the rest of the week. I'm going to ask you another question, and I've asked it before. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be tomorrow? What do you want to be today? Do you want to be disciplined? Do you want to be motivated? Do you want to be kind? Do you want to be good? Good can be hard. But these words are powerful. When you have a chance, you're going to do that 3-word exercise. I'm convincing you guys. You're going to do this 3-word exercise. You're going to think about the 3 words of who you are today, the 3 words of who you want to become in the future, because that is how you build your social wealth. That is how these invisible threads make our life richer. This is how we engage. This is how we build our communities. So let's do it together. Thank you.